Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the late start. Okay, let's get it here so you can see me. Good morning, everyone. Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room stamping with you this morning, and I am so sorry that I'm late. Had a phone call right at the last moment, and it ran over time. Anyways, I'm going to say good morning, welcome to the craft room, and I'll flip my computer around and I'll show you what project we're making today. So I'm making a fun fold using the Peaceful Deer bundle. So let's let me straighten my and get rid of the, whoa, I really wasn't ready this morning, was I? Holy crowley. Okay, there we go. And I haven't got the details of the video done properly yet, but I will. I will edit them as soon as I'm done. There we go. We're grooving now. Okay, so this is a fun fold and it opens like this. Now I've done a couple of these before with that fan out, but I've never seen one with this added little piece on there. And it's really cool because you've got this with your sentiment and you can see the trees, and then you open it up and the sentiment inside is hidden. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to do a custom envelope. I'll get that right there so you can watch. Pardon me. Oof. Okay. Where's my recipe so I can tell you what I'm using? And I'll put the measurements and stuff in the comments section. I'm using a piece of basic black cardstock. Oops, I just lost something. There we go. Basic black cardstock that is 5.5 by 9 3/4. And I've scored that at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5.5. Then I have a piece of basic white that's 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside. A piece of black that is 3 by 4.5, and it's scored in the middle at 2 1/4. Piece of basic white. Okay, this basic white is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, so it's a little bit bigger than my normal one. Then I have a piece of basic white that's 1 by 3. It's just a scrap to do the sentiment. I'm going to show you a trick how to punch out the opposite deer, except that I didn't get the opposite deer, so I'll show you anyways. I'll just go and get one. I have a piece of, now the wonderful snowflakes come on sheets like this. Let me just get one out here so I can show you. These are iridescent, laser cut. Look at the shine on that. So when you get these sheets, don't throw the empty away when you take all your snowflakes out, because there's so much room on here to die cut other things. So what I've got a scrap of that to do a snowflake with. And then the Peaceful Prints designer paper, I have 2 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 2 7/8, and I have 4 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 5 3/8. Now this card I got from my friend Wendy Lee. I'm just going to get another deer so I can show you how to punch the backwards deer. There we go. Just cut one out. Okay, so when you look at the punch has the deer facing with his nose to the right. But you can see on this card, I've used the one, hi Janet, I've used the one with the nose facing to the left. So I'm just going to cut one out of the paper, and I'll show you how easy it is to make that wrong way deer work for you. Okay, so I will show you that now. No, let's get some pieces to the card done first, and then I'll worry about that. Okay, so to fold it, we need to have, this one goes back, that one goes forward. You're just fan folding it like that. Then of course you need your bone folder so you can crease all of your folds, and so your card will stay as flat as possible. It won't be completely flat because you've got paper in there. And this one. And while I've got that out, I'll grab my other black one because it needs to be folded as well. Just fold that in half. Good. Bone fold. Okay, so we've got that done. There. That's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so this piece, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, it's going to go on the inside, but I have to stamp it first, but that's where that will go. So I'm going to get my white piece. There it is. And we'll stamp the outside sentiment in real red. I feel like I'm disjointed today. This missing my deadline and starting on the fly does not work with my OCD-ness. Okay, I'm going to die cut that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to stamp the inside sentiment. This says, wishing you a wonderful year and friendships, dear. And it's going to go way over on this side so it gets covered. There we are. And I just realized I don't even have my die cutting machine close to hand, so I'm going to have to go and get that. Okay, so the big tree goes on full strength. And I'm going to get my paper piercing mat because it helps get good, strong coverage when you have a solid stamp like this. I'm inking it up. I'm just going to stamp it in the bottom corner. Oh, looks like snow. Apparently I need to re-ink my ink pad while I'm at it. Okay, and then I have the little trees, and I'm going to ink them up, stamp them off, and stamp them so that they're in the background of that big tree, just like that. And that's all the stamping. We can get rid of my mat. I have to do the die cutting. So I'm using the seasonal label dies along with some flower images that match with the Christmas season stamp set. There's all these cool labels, and I love this one. It's perfect for this sentiment. Get that up where you can see it. And I'm just going to use a bit of Post-it note there to hold it in place. I'm just going to go get my machine. Okay. Apologies for that. And I'm going to run this through. There we are. One little tiny die cut. All that. All right. There's our die cut for our front sentiment. Take my Post-it note off. Put my die away. Because whenever I don't put my die away, that's when I lose things. There we go. That's done. Now, I do have to cut out of this piece of paper that's from the snowflakes. I need to cut a small snowflake. So these are the so many snowflake dies that carried over from last year. And I'm just going to cut one out of that. See, a scrap of paper with all that pretty iridescence on it makes a gorgeous snowflake. It moved, so I just had to straighten it out. So it's pouring rain here today. It's a lovely day to be in my craft room, which is a good thing because I have a lot of stuff to do in my craft room today. I'm getting ready for my penguin class with Wendy. We have both made 2 cards, so I have to get those prepped and get them out in the mail. And then my Merry Moments class is coming up next week, and I have to get those. I think I have most of those done already. Okay, so let me show you how to punch out the deer backwards. So this is just a piece of copy paper that I folded in half and punched. So you flip it over and line it up with the deer. I shared this with my team last night during our stamping night, and it was a little bit more difficult to line up than the first time. But that's because I'm OCD and like to have things relatively in line. Okay, that needs to come up just a hair. There we go. Okay, so you can just hold it if you want and punch it out. I like to use just a little bit of Post-it note and hold it together. Now you will be punching through the Post-it note too, so it does add a little bit of thickness. Okay, it moved again. It really is an easy concept. It's just that when you're OCD like me, you need to have things lined up properly. And sometimes that just doesn't happen. Okay, we'll go with this, whether it moves or not. Okay, so now you flip it over. I'm just going to cut this piece off because it got folded over. You don't need that. And I'm going to line it up in my punch and match the hole like that, and then just punch it. And gently ease your paper out so you can use it as a template for the next time. And then you flip it over. So here's the side we punched, and you flip it over, and there you've got the perfect punch for the deer going the wrong way. Just that easy. Is that not a cool tip? That was one of my aha moments I had recently. Okay, I'm going to put this inside because it's in the way and I just want to get rid of it. And it doesn't matter which. We're going to assemble now, and it doesn't matter what pieces you put on first. So this is just going to go, let's do it this way so I can get the frame proper. There we go. I think. Sure, it'll do. Okay, so now I'm going to put these pieces on. So I kind of alternated them, but I have other pieces for this card, so I'm going to have to figure out which ones I want where. We have that one, and we have that one, and we have the same one again, so it's going to go this other side, and then this green one. So I'm going to put those on like that. Change the front up a bit. Put my stamp and seal on. And that'll go on. Oh, I should always start with this one so you can line up your frame lines. Oh, this one isn't directional, so I don't have to worry too much about getting it in the right direction. And just put it on there like that. Perfect. Not bad if I do say so myself. Okay, now this one. This one is also not directional, so it's easy to put on. Like that. Now, do that one. And you can use either side of these papers, and you can use all the same if you don't want to make them all different. This paper is the Peaceful Place paper. Is that what it's called? Peaceful Print, sorry. Peaceful Place is the other suite, the one with the cabin. Okay, where did my, oh look, it's stuck to the back of my card. Good thing I used Stampin' Seal because it comes up really easy. Dummy. Oh well, it's the story of my life this week, I tell you. So this paper is free during celebration with a minimum $60 purchase. So if you get the Peaceful Deer bundle that coordinates with it, you can get the paper. I do believe it's in it. Let me just check. Peaceful Deer. Oh, that's not the bundle. Peaceful Deer is $48.50. Oh, right, because it's got a punch. So you only need $11.50 to get the $60. So throw in a package of white cardstock, and you've got your order so that you can get the free paper for free. Okay, so now I'm going to use this one on that side, and that one on that side, I do believe. Just let me check. Might switch that around. Oh, let's switch it around, make it really different. Okay, put this one on there. I like showing you options with the different sides of the paper and different layouts as well. So celebration is only on for another, what's today? Today is the 14th. So you got 2 weeks and 2 days, so 16 days, and celebration 2.0 for 2021 will be gone. And all those awesome products will be disappearing. So far, we haven't run out of anything, which I can't tell you how much that means to demonstrators when Stampin' Up! Is able to predict what is going to sell and have it on hand in sufficient quantities that things don't go on back order. Because, holy man, having to tell your customer that they can't order something because it's not orderable or it won't come for a while because it's back ordered is never a good thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my front and I'm going to kind of eyeball sort of what I want. I want to make sure it's up high enough that it clears the trees, but I want it to be nestled in between those two trees. That's the way I like it to be. So I'm just going to, oh, I didn't get that paper on very well. I'm going to roll this up here like this, get my pencil, and put a little mark on there so that I know where to put the adhesive. Now, I'm going to have to deal with this. Let's see if I can get it off. I didn't put it over far enough. Come on. Oops. Stuck to my finger and I ripped it back off. Okay, now where's that piece that there's my mark there. So I'm going to put adhesive on here. I want to make sure it doesn't fall off. Now put it in here, slip the back side in to where I want it, right there, then make sure it's straight and push it down. Hopefully there's no adhesive showing. Now I'm going to do this, kind of slide my pencil in there and make a mark so I know where to put the adhesive for this side, which should be in about the same place. Oops. Now, to finish this, I'm just pinching the two pieces together and then close this on top of itself because that'll make it lay down nice and flat for you. And there's my sentiment is hidden. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. I just have to take a sip of tea because my mouth is dry. Love my tea. Okay, now to get some dimensionals, and I'm going to pop the deer up. And then I'm just going to use the bottom and cut off 4 strips for the legs because I like to make sure that my legs are still attached and don't get caught going in and out of the envelope and being person handled. Sorry, that was not politically correct. Come on. There. You just need little tiny strips. Put them on each of the 4 legs. Oops, that one missed the mark. You don't want them to show. Okay, let's get rid of the liners, maybe. And this one. And then we'll be ready to put it onto the card. Get that out of the way. And that's just going to go right about there. There we are. Now I'm going to put a little dab of Tombow on the back side of my snowflake. And going to let that dry for a sec. Put the dimensionals on the back of the sentiment. And the sentiment's going to stick out a little bit here. So I'm going to move over a bit from the edge. There we go. Take those liners off. Take my snowflake, gently pick it up, and I'm going to attach it to the back, to that dimensional on the back. So when I put it here, then it's going to be where I want it. There we are, and just attach that with the Tombow. Add some rhinestones. Now I used clear rhinestones on this one, but I think I'm going to grab my red ones because I have more neutral colors on this one, so I want to add a bit of color to it. Okay, one right here and one down here. And then I put one on top of the tree right here. There we are. And there's our card. Not too difficult to make. It's a great way to use up those 1-inch strips of designer paper that everybody has left over. And it stands up really well like that. So now I'm going to show you how to do an envelope. So these envelopes are CEO Shelley, no, Sarah, does a thing online every Tuesday afternoon, and she shared the instructions to make these envelopes. You can make one to fit a regular size card, which is 5.5 by 4.25. You can also make one that's 4.25 by 4.25, and you can make one that's 3.25 by 4.25, I think is the other one. So a 6 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use the bigger end of my stylus because that will tend to not rip the designer paper as much as the thin one does. And I'm going to do 3/4 inch on both sides. Now I'm not pushing very hard, so I'm going to go over it a couple of times just to get a good mark on there. And then 3/4 inch from this side all the way down. Then you flip it and you do 2 inches on one end and flip it around and do 4.25 inches on the other end. There we are. Thanks, Janet. It's a fun fold that's quite satisfying. Okay, so you probably can't see my score lines now, so just let me fold them all so you'll know where you can see where I'm doing my cutting. Now, I haven't bone folded these yet, so I will still have to do that. But this will just give you an idea of where the folds are and where I'm cutting. Okay, I said that already once, right? Okay, so on the top, which is the 2-inch side, you're going to cut down that line. Now, if you're OCD and you want your lines to be straight, use your paper trimmer. And then down the other side, and then miter in from that corner. Flip it around to the 4.25 inch side. Do exactly the same thing. So you got a couple of tips and tricks this morning. And you can find the dimensions for these envelopes, all 3 sizes. I will post them on my blog, and I'll link to it in the description of the video. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. We'll get this one out of the way so it's not confusing. Now, bone folder. Now's when you want to take your bone folder and make sure you've got good creased lines all the way around. And this one. And finally the top. Okay. Oops, I put it away and I still need it. Now I take it and all you do is fold it in, put adhesive on here. You don't want to put adhesive here because it doesn't go right to the top. So just put adhesive there, and then all you do is fold it over like this. But I'm just going to, I like to make sure that the edges are straight before I put it together. And I see I have a little bit of trimming to do on this one. I don't want them sticking out past the edge of the envelope. So I'm just trimming off a bit more. Just fine tuning. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh, much better. There we go. So now I'm going to put my adhesive, start at the end, so I have adhesive right to the very end. and you want to keep it close to the side. And do the other side. I just missed a bit of that one. Okay, now hold your flaps closed and you just fold this over on top of it. And there you've got your envelope. Was that not the easiest thing you've ever seen? I tell you, sometimes it's the small things that are the most effective. So there's our cards for today. Yay! I could have punched this one out and done the deer the other way, but I wanted to show you how to use that little template to cut backwards, because you can and it works really well. Okay. Thanks, Janet. I like everything matching too, and especially with this paper's free. So make up a whole bunch of envelopes and just use them. Because use some on the card and some on the envelope, and then you're matchy-matchy. You're very welcome, Janet. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to say goodbye now, and if you want to catch me live the next time, I'll be live in my VIP group on Facebook at 8 o'clock Thursday evening, and I'll put the link to that in the description of the video. And if you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel, and then once you do, click on the little bell and say all, so that you get notification for all of my YouTube lives and when I upload videos to my channel. Thanks for watching with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stamp and Smile.